So you want to know the secret to a long life? It may not be what you think. Stay tuned. When we think of a long life, how long is that? Is that 60 years, 70 years, 80 years, or even 100? Now, I would say 100 years is a long life, but 80 years is a good life. But of course, that depends on how healthy you are. And while we don't have the choice of how long we live, we all want a quality life. So how do you have a long life? Or how do you maintain a long life? Well, everyone knows to stay healthy, we have to eat right, drink plenty of water, exercise, and get enough sleep. Those are the basics. Now, sadly, most of us don't do the basics very well. We do part of them, we do some of them. We just seem to stumble at a lot of the general things we need to do. Like I myself, I have trouble drinking lots of water. I'd rather drink other things like juice, milk, soda. But some people just have an easy time. They'll just drink water and they love it. Some people just don't want to do any exercising at all. They figure their job gives them enough exercise. They're able to get what they need as far as the cardiovascular by walking. But it's a personal choice. But as far as doing these things, most of us fall short. Many of us don't drink lots of water, me included. And many of us don't exercise the way we should, me included. One thing I do is get plenty of sleep. So that's, at least I'm doing something right. But well, there's one thing you may not be considering when you're thinking about a long life, and that's giving to the poor, or that's being generous to the poor. And when I stumbled across this, when I was reading scripture, it really stuck out to me. It's like, it just woke me up in a sense. I mean, who would think that helping the poor would give you a long life? Well, I'm going to read from the scripture here. I'm going to look down at the screen here. It says in Psalms 41, 1 through 3, "Blessed is he who considers the poor. The Lord will deliver him in the time of trouble. The Lord will preserve him and keep him alive, and he will be blessed on the earth. He will not deliver him to the will of his enemies. The Lord will strengthen him on his bed of illness and will sustain him on his sick bed." Now that's just one scripture that talks about helping the poor. But you just see the benefits of helping the poor. He will keep you from your enemies. He will bless you on the earth. He will strengthen you on your sick bed so that you won't remain sick. I mean, that is what we all just want, to be healthy. I mean, that's why we do all these things. That's why we exercise. But just thinking of this one thing to get the blessing of God is just to help the poor. Because it also says somewhere else in Scripture that he who gives to the poor lends to the Lord. So the Lord will repay anything that you would give. So if that is true, why don't most people give to the poor? Well, we all have our personal reasons. We tend to think that the poor deserve it. Many of them can work and don't work, and many of them are there because of, you could say choice. They have drug problems, mental problems, issues with the family, and well, you could say some of that is choice. Some of it may not be their choice. I mean, we can easily say, well, they're healthy enough to work and they shouldn't be in that situation, so why would I give to them? But really, God isn't, it doesn't mean we give to everyone that's poor. I mean, everyone that comes by us, but the question is, are we giving at all? Our heart shouldn't be all the reasons why we shouldn't give. Our heart should be defined reasons to give. If you see someone at a traffic stop and they're going by the cars looking for handouts, do you automatically think, well, they're walking past me, they can work. They shouldn't be here. Well, maybe that's true, but we don't know their situation. And really, that shouldn't be our heart anyway, because if we just give with the heart unto the Lord, in other words, we give because they're just in a bad place right now. They may not always be in that place. So are we going to judge them? Are we going to look down upon them because they don't have a job, because they're begging on the street? There may be reasons beyond their control. And even if they spend the money on alcohol or drugs or something other than food or shelter, that doesn't mean we shouldn't give. It is not our our place is to give as unto the Lord, and we will get our reward regardless. Let God deal with them. Just obey the Lord and give, and out of love. Because who knows the gift that you give, what it will do for someone. I remember one time when I was just out of high school, I was going to start a training in a new city. I'm from a small town, and this was a bigger settling to be in the new city. I wasn't used to it. I didn't know anybody. It was a new atmosphere. I was very shy at that age, and I was becoming very lonely. So I went to the church, local church, and after the service, the pastor and I were talking, and this was during Thanksgiving time, and he knew I was by myself. I had no family where I was. So he invited me to go to a dinner with him and a bunch of his family and friends. And I felt awkward and almost said no, but I did go. And it was good. It was fun. I appreciated the gesture. So I went to the dinner, like I said, and then that was it. I never went back to that church. I don't remember that pastor's name, but to this day, I remember that he invited me to dinner. To this day, I remember the good gesture. It moved me, and it still moves me that he did that for me, that he invited me, a stranger. And that stuck with me. Like I said, I don't know his name, but I know what he did for me. And see, that's what happens when we give to the poor. When we give to the poor, we get that same, they can get that same feeling. Well, and maybe they won't. Maybe some of them will just say no big deal and pass it on, will never think about it and don't appreciate it. But there will be some who will say in years to come that gift made a difference. That person, I don't know their name, but they made a difference in my life. And I, for one, want to be a part of that. Now you may think, well, not everyone's going to think that, and how do you know who to give to? Well, you have to basically give from your heart. Just be open. I think if you're willing to give, you'll see more situations to give. Where if you're more closed-minded or have reasons why you don't think you should give, then of course you're not going to see those opportunities. Opportunities open up to people who are open, who are looking for the opportunities. So I would say, look for the opportunities. Now I want to give another scripture, two scriptures based on the same thing to help to solidify this, how important that is. I mean, just to know that giving to the poor, helping people, God will give you a long life. He'll protect you. I mean, that is such a awesome thing. I mean, if you really think about it. So there's another scripture in Proverbs. Proverbs 14, it says, "The poor is hated even by his own neighbor, but the rich have many friends. He who despises his neighbor sins. But he who has mercy on the poor, happy is he." And the next verse is Proverbs 14:31. "He who opposes the poor reproaches his maker, but he who honors him has mercy on the needy." So you can see that God takes it very seriously how we treat other people, especially people who are not, you could say, as fortunate as us, who are having difficulties and extreme trouble. I mean, for someone to be on the side of the road or to live under a bridge, they got to be having some severe problems. And why would we add to them, at least in our minds, that it's just their fault? I mean, I think our initial feeling sometimes with people is they caused their own problem, and maybe they did, but it doesn't mean that we can't help them. It doesn't mean that we can't give them some hope or a chance to come out of that. I mean, we're not here to destroy people's, to help destroy people's lives. We should be here to help build them up. And the Lord honors those who help the poor, the needy, the ones who have no one to protect them. God honors them. So I would say, whenever you can, protect those who are weak. Help those who need to be helped. Whatever situation comes before you that you can do good, do good. And don't expect the reward. Just expect the reward of the Lord, His favor. That's all you need to expect, is the favor of the Lord. And that is so much. That's worth more than anything. And you never know, down the line, It's because you have his favor what will come your way. Blessings of the Lord come to those who help the poor. Helping the poor seems to be the right thing to do. And helps everyone, not only the poor person, but it helps you too. Well, that's it for this video. Thanks for watching, and God bless.